Also, let you know how excited we are to be in Jamestown. Gabby has some history here. I actually have some history here. We know the Rich family. Matt, I know Matt's bosses from my time with Cleveland and relationship with Buffalo, so we're excited to be in Jamestown. Our goal is to become a part of your community. One of the things we do, which we believe is unique in baseball, I think there may be some teams copying it, is we require our players to do 5 hours of community service each half. So we're going to ask for some help with Matt, our opportunities, and what we're trying to do is have these players understand, one, the impact that they can make when they get out into the community and they give back to the community, and have it become second nature so that when they get to AA or they get to AAA or they get to the big leagues, they're used to giving back to the communities that they're a part of. So we're looking forward to becoming a part of your community, and again, really excited to be in Jamestown.
Thank you, Neil.
1991. How did you connect with the Expos? Was this your first job?
I had interned once for them in the scouting department. I was a senior at Amherst College, where I went to college. And my baseball coach brought me into the office in fall of that year. So what are you going to do with your real life once you get done college? And I told him I hope to play professionally, and after he giggled for a little while, he told me that's probably not going to work. What do you really want to do? And at the time I wanted to teach and coach, and was intent on baseball.
What's the connection with the Expos?
Bill Thurston was the head baseball coach at Amherst College. Dan Duquette, who's now the general manager of the Baltimore Orioles, was an assistant general manager with the Expos, and I guess Coach Thurston must have liked what I had done, and he was my sponsor to Dan. He got me the internship in the scouting department. I was going to go play baseball that summer, and the gentleman who was supposed to be the assistant general manager with Jamestown left, and so 3 days before the Jamestown season started, I got a phone call asking me to come to work for the Jamestown Expos, and I enjoyed it, had a great summer, a series of experiences that I don't know that I'll ever be able to replicate, but had a great time.
The GM at the time was?
Tom O'Reilly. Tom was great to me, treated me very well, gave me some direction, but yet turned me loose and allowed me to do some things.
Your manager?
Manager was Ed Creech, who I had worked with, and I subsequently worked with in Montreal. And then the hitting coach was Jim Fleming, who was vice president of development and scouting for the Marlins. And QV Lowe was the pitching coach, longtime college coach. Could not ask for a better staff for a guy hungry about baseball, wanting to learn about baseball, wanting to learn about professional baseball. They treated me tremendously well, answered all my questions, and I had a million of them, and gave me a pretty good insight into professional baseball.
I heard a little bit about your landlord-tenant relationship here.
I lived a couple houses up from the ballpark, and lived in an old house that had been divided, and the people took great care of us. I shared a 1.5 bedroom, I guess, or 2-bedroom apartment with our trainer. Every night after a home game, we'd go up to the Cherry Lounge and have some 10-cent or 25-cent wings or whatever they were at that point in time, but really enjoyed it.
Did you then briefly, give us kind of a Reader's Digest if you're ready to get you the GM of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Very fortunate to be around some great baseball people. Started in Montreal, wouldn't trade that for the world. There were 4 of us in the front office, the general manager, the vice president of baseball operations, our director of player development, and myself. So you can imagine who got all the projects. I did, but again, enjoyed every minute of it. Was exposed to things that in this day and age guys just don't get exposed to in front offices of 15. Administrative assistant entry-level position. I was responsible for equipment and making sure our players and staff had insurance and monitoring player boards and a little bit of everything, but a very entry-level position. From there, I went and spent a season as the advanced scout on video. Also kept the other job. Got promoted to assistant director of player development. Left the Expos after the '97 season. Joined the Indians as their assistant director of player development. Spent 1 year there as the assistant. 3 years as their director of player development. 3 years as their assistant general manager. 3 or 4 years as a special assistant, which meant I was back out scouting and back into baseball, which is what I loved. I was an evaluator and an advisor for the general manager, and from there went to Pittsburgh, and are now entering my 6th year as a general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Well, you were with the Indians, by the way. I've just captured the 1997 Florida Marlins, Jose Mesa. What was the feeling in Cleveland after that was all said and done?
It was surreal for me because I had gone from the Expos, and a couple times we thought we were close, and a lack of depth or a big injury, or we just couldn't get over that final step, to going to the Indians, where my second day on the job was Game 3 of the World Series, and walking into Game 3 of the World Series, the atmosphere, the environment, there was the snow during the World Series. And it felt like I was an outsider getting an insider's viewpoint because I had a cubicle, I had a place to go to work during the World Series. I watched from TV as they ended up going down to Florida and having those tough losses. But it was strange for me because the emotion in the office was intense. The up, the down, the frustration after the loss. And I wanted to feel it, but I just couldn't because I hadn't owned it. I hadn't been a part of it. So it was a little bit of an outsider on the inside, but it was something I knew I wanted to get back to. I wanted to get back to the playoffs. I wanted to get back to the World Series. We were fortunate enough to get back to the playoffs a couple times, but never back to the World Series, and that's the goal. That's why we do this. We all want to win a World Series and do something special with an outstanding group of people.
So I'm trying to envision the negotiations between you and Clint Hurdle a couple of years ago. We talked a little bit about it earlier because he clearly wants to win. He knew that, knowing that there's Pirates are very good at kind of creating prospects and creating that potential big-time player and then trading them off. I suspect Clint had that frank conversation with you.
Clint is a special man, and Clint is at a point in his life where he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to be a part of, what he's going to lead, what he's going to commit to, and he asked us some very challenging questions about our commitment, about where we were headed and where we wanted to go and how we believed we were going to get there. I think he liked the answers because he chose to come on board with us, and the impact he's made has been tremendous.
Well, you're making it quite an impact, Neil. I mean, you have a really good reputation, I've heard that from David Dombrowski.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. That means a lot coming from David. I hold him in high regards. He's been a very successful general manager, and you try to steal from successful people along the way, and David's certainly one of those I've tried to take from and learn from.
Are there people that you get on the phone outside of the organization just to sort of, you can bounce things off of?
There's, like David, people that I have a ton of respect for. John Hart, he was a general manager when I was in Cleveland, and his GM tree is, I think, unmatched. I don't even know the number anymore, 8 or 9 people that came through Cleveland that either now or have been GMs in recent past. John Schuerholz with Atlanta is a guy that I hold and steal from successful people along the way, and David's certainly one of those I've tried to take from and learn from.